Hey everyone, we're the ECB team, and today we're going to react on Eurovision 2026. Let's get started. So, this time we're going to review the semifinal two running order. The EBU has just published the running order for semifinal two. Let's quickly review together. So, opening is Bulgaria, DARA. Thereafter, we have Azerbaijan, Romania, Luxembourg, Czechia, followed by the automatic qualifier France. Thereafter, we have Armenia and Switzerland closing the first half. For the second half of the show, we'll kick off with Cyprus. Thereafter, we have Austria, Latvia, Denmark, Australia, Ukraine, the UK, and closing the show will be Albania, Malta, and Norway. So, team, let's start review the running order. We'll do it pair by pair. Let's start with the first pair, Bulgaria, followed by Azerbaijan. Naomi, will you be the first one, please?
Yeah, I actually think it's quite a good pairing, I actually think, because you've got the high energy. You definitely want to get people warmed up at the start of a semi-final, get everyone in the mood. I think Bulgaria does that perfectly. You've got that great sort of up-tempo song, getting everybody ready to party, in the mood for Eurovision. And I think that works actually well with the semi-final one where you have Moldova. So two returning countries. I think that was paired brilliantly. Just to remind everyone that we do have returnees coming back, and what a way to introduce them by letting them basically open. So I think that's great. And then I think the contrast with Azerbaijan afterwards, you slow down a little bit. You don't want to be too much hyper kind of and too energetic too much. So I think Azerbaijan is not the slowest of songs, but it does bring it down a little bit. So it gives us a bit of a breather, but in a nice way that Bulgaria and Azerbaijan complement each other.
Yeah, I agree. Vani, what about you?
I think Bulgaria is a great way to start the second semifinal as well. It's so energetic, will not will keep the interest of the viewer up, and I truly believe it's a great choice for Eurovision to open with Bangaranga. It's so catchy, it's so interesting, and many people will probably it will probably overshadow the next entry, Azerbaijan, which is not that strong, but I do think uh, everyone expected number two to be the Azerbaijan position because unfortunately it's one of the weakest of the half of the second semifinal, and it was pretty easy because most of the songs are up tempo and I think more balanced than the second half, the semifinal, and Azerbaijan kind of suits between after Bulgaria and before Romania, of course.
Yeah, I kind of agree with both of you. I expected actually the same pair exactly to be in song number one and two. Also, like the effect of having a returnee as first song, and this is a bang, like Bangaranga, it's a bang for real. I feel like she has like really nice energy, Dara, and probably she will come with some dancers. So, like, opening it really in a exciting mode. Azerbaijan is really the opposite in the energy it brings. It's more calm, some anger, like just go. It's a classic ballad for position number two, sadly. I don't want to say their chances are low, but actually they are. And I think like putting them on song number two doesn't really help as well. But yeah, I think like there are no much choices here. But still like I can get like Azerbaijan in song number two more like predicted. In contrast to Sweden in semifinal number one. That was kind of surprise. All right, the next pair to review for us is Romania as song number three, and thereafter we have Luxembourg, Eva Maria. Vani, you go first. What do you think about that allocation?
Okay, I do think Romania is really justified as well. Personally, I do think the Romanian song is a huge blast of energy, and it's so different comparing to most of the songs in this year's lineup in general. I do think number three is a good position because it's early and it can stand out, especially having it between Azerbaijan and Luxembourg, two much slower songs. And I've also noticed Romania being number three in 2023 as well. in the semifinal too, but it's completely different now. Romania has come back with a lot stronger choice. As for Luxembourg, I'm not really sure if position four helps them. It doesn't ruin them, but honestly, I could have expected this song being after Romania. It's a bit of a weird combination, more like I expected after Bulgaria, because it's more different. Well, I don't think it affects that much their chances. It's a cool position. I do think Romania benefits much more than Luxembourg from this one.
What about you, Naomi?
Absolutely agree. I think the winner of that pairing is clear. It's clearly Romania. I think actually after Azerbaijan to bring that contrast in is excellent. And then you've got that energy of Romania standing out again with Luxembourg after. So I think it's absolutely brilliant. So yeah, if you're a fan of kind of Romania's song, I've certainly been. This is brilliant. This is actually really good news. So I hope Romania really capitalise on that spot. But yeah, generally, I think kind of just in general, in terms of the actual pairing, I think with Luxembourg after, it does help Luxembourg actually a little bit because you do have that kind of slowing down with the nice violin. And that can actually help Luxembourg. So Luxembourg does get something out of this as well. But definitely feel the winner of this pairing, I feel, and certainly is felt by sort of the panel we have, is definitely looking to be Romania 100%.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I mean, statistics wisely, position number three is almost worse as number two, by the way. But still, I feel like Romania can make it, and regardless the position, I feel they really benefit to be after Azerbaijan and also before Luxembourg. Regarding Luxembourg, I think the song is also different from all the others, like Romania. Like each one of them is different from all the others, so maybe batching them together is also a good decision. For sure, Romania is most benefited about that, but not, but Luxembourg somehow as well, because I feel that many people who are not attracted to rock music will feel more comfortable with the almost classic violin, mid-tempo kind of ballad of Luxembourg, and vice versa. So I think like I like doubt that there will be people that won't enjoy both of them together. Like I can see it like as a splitter of the audience in a good way. My only criticism is why did they have allocated four female singers one after each other from song one to song four? I would put Czechia to be honest after Romania because I think the energy are really differs. One of them is really, gentle, subtle, like the voices are really soft. The other one is with anger, with more blasting energy. And I feel like putting Czechia in the middle of many female singers could have helped him a lot, a lot, a lot, a lot. So I have no clue why they decided that way and not the other one. Maybe some staging consideration. I have no clue about Czechia. We're gonna dig them soon because it will be their turn. But regarding Luxembourg, I guess like the staging will be kind of similar to the national final, which is mostly about video and LED effects, not much props as it looks like. Um, yeah, but I feel like yeah, putting Romania in position number three helpful here. All right, moving on to the next pair will be Czechia in position number five and France with no position because that's kind of guest performer as automatic qualifier. Maybe I'll go first this time. So regarding Czechia, the song is really different one. I still feel like it's more for a jury, not public, even though I like it. It's in my top 10, I can reveal. Romania as well, by the way. But I don't know if for that kind of song it's not kind of can be a bit forgotten because it's in the middle of things. And also, let's face it, Czechia have had sorry some staging problems in recent years. Adonis the staging wasn't good. Aiko I like it, but many people thought it was over the head. I don't know, and many other concepts. They are not always excel. Let's say they don't always excel. Sorry, in staging. So I don't know whether it will be a good idea to put them there, especially when friends afterwards. I mean, people can like it or not, but for sure it will be a grand moment. I think they're gonna invest a lot in staging. They actually hinted about it. It's gonna be something epic, theatrical, and also like this is France. Like they have the budget. I think may I say to set such a staging, especially when they are in the top three to win the whole contest. So I'm a bit afraid for Czechia, which I like a lot. I just would swap it up with Luxembourg. That's my thought. especially when there are not much male performance in the first half. I just hope the jury will see the beautiness of Czechia. I know jury not necessarily look at the running order when they do the ranking. The public are a little bit more biased. But yeah, so regarding France, not much to say. They're automatic qualifier. They're already in. But again, my criticism here, I would put France in second half actually, even as automatic qualifier, because we don't have such energy of ballad or opera at all in second half. It's much more like about other ballads, not the operatic one. And yeah, if even if that's a favorite, I feel like it would be better to go that way. Vani, continue with you.
Yeah. I have to say that Czechia's position is kind of beneficial because Luxembourg is not that strong. However, I'm not very sure about anyway because there are two songs that will probably not get that much points from the televoting, Luxembourg and Czechia. And then there is an automatic finalist, which I do think people will not focus that much on the automatic finalist during the show of the semifinals because they won't vote for them. And it's probably having the show to have a little bit of uh, a drop until Armenia appears, for example. I think the Czech position is okay, nice, and I do think this song will qualify nevertheless because it will get high jury support, and if his voice is good, then public as well. But yeah, for about France, okay, it's one of the favorites supposedly. I'm not really sure about its fate. It will definitely be a moment in the semifinal, but I do think it's not that big of a deal that it's in the first half. Too many women in the first half, as you said earlier as well. And I guess it can be a nice promo for France. We can see the staging, the full idea, but that's it, I guess.
Naomi, please.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you both about it being quite risky having them two next to each other. But I'll come at it from a different angle. Like, I feel like just literally just on pure song level, never mind budget, staging, past history. I think purely just even on a song level, having two big dramatic songs, one after the other, it just feels a bit same, especially when we've also had this variance in kind of different tempos, different genres, different melodies, different energies, even in that first half. So then having it suddenly quite similar in terms of like the song type and the vibe, it's just a bit like, what? It just suddenly goes like, oh, different, same. And it feels like, oh, right, okay. So just even on a song level, and it might wear people out. Because France is going to come with heat. I'm just telling you now, as a fellow automatic qualifier from the UK, we come with heat, or even on the semi-finals. So just giving you a warning now. So to then have Czechia afterwards, it feels a little bit. It's going to be dramatic, and then you've got Czechia afterwards. It's also dramatic. It might just be a little bit tiring, if I'm being honest. So yeah, I don't think it's the worst pairing in the world, but I think it's one of the riskiest because you are risking Czechia just being forgotten, and then also it's just you're risking tiring people out even before you get to the first half of the semi-final. So I feel in that way it's a risk. But yeah, it is. They're definitely two great songs next to each other. I'm gonna put it like that. But yeah, I feel like it will be a chance for France to kind of show fully their armor. I feel like with automatic qualifiers, like I'm from the UK, it is that chance. Well, definitely we might not be the center of attention because you can't vote for us, but it's definitely an opportunity for us to it's an extra opportunity for promo and promotion. So if used wisely, it can actually set you apart. So yeah, I agree with you guys pretty much mostly. I feel like, but I'm just coming at it from a different angle. It's a great pairing two songs together, but it just might tire people out.
Yeah. All right, the next pair will actually finalize the first half of the show. Those are Armenia and after we have Switzerland. Naomi, the stage is yours.
Thank you, I'm back. Yeah, so with Armenia, that's a bit of a roller coaster because Armenia is gonna be a real one. So if you're not ready, you should be ready for when Armenia comes. Just the song alone is high energy, high impact, um, big delivery. Even just without knowing the staging at the time of recording, we still don't know the stagings and things quite yet. So we're just ahead of rehearsals. But yeah, and then Switzerland after is quite a contrast. I think it then slows down a little bit. Yes, Switzerland's a bit of a rock song. It's not exactly the slowest ballad, but it's quite the contrast. I think it is kind of at the bigger end of a contrast. I mean, we love a contrast. I'm not against it, but this is when you go the other end of the spectrum. I feel like France and Czechia was one end when they're quite similar, and then Armenia and Switzerland's the other end where they're actually quite different. So I don't know whether this will work or not. I feel like it probably could, but I feel like there's that risk of it might be too much of a contrast. Basically, maybe once we know the staging, how things will pan out on the night, maybe it might work. But I feel like where France and Czechia are too similar, Armenia and Switzerland might be too different. But we'll see.
Vani, what do you think about that allocation?
Um, I think Armenia is a great way to entertain people after France, Czechia, and Luxembourg being slower songs. I don't have anything against slower songs, but I think there has to be a big contrast on during the show. Nice changes like, okay, we start with Bulgaria, then we go to Armenia. There are not that many uh, clearly upbeat songs in that half. However, I do think Armenia is given a good position. They will definitely shine in the semifinal in the televoting part. Um, Unfortunately, I cannot say the same about Switzerland. The song is amazing in my opinion, one of my favorites. But unfortunately, this song might be received as over over quality, too much quality after Armenia, and the public hasn't really been on the quality entries side in the past years. And having Armenia and then Cyprus um, in two very upbeat songs, and you have Switzerland. I like the fact, at least, that Switzerland is not close to Romania in the running order because they are the rock songs, the female rock songs of the semifinal, and it's good that they put them as far as it could be between them. There are four songs, so of course they're completely different to each other, but still they're in the rock vibe, in the grunge vibe, and I do think Armenia will benefit a lot from the running order. And unfortunately, Switzerland, not that much. It's sad, but it's kind of expected.
Mhm. Yeah, I feel I have some mixed emotions about that one because on one hand they gave Switzerland ideally one of the best allocations because they closed their own half, so as late as possible in the first half, which I couldn't imagine. I thought that they would let Armenia to do that, by the way, but on the other hand, like there are too much kind of slow or ballady songs and they have to break it somehow, so putting Armenia. I don't know. I think Switzerland should have been next to Czechia or even next to France or something like that because they contrast better. And maybe Armenia should be next to France or something like that because they contrast better, if I would have arranged it. But yeah, Armenia, I think, would benefit from anyone because they are one of the big cards of the half. Not for me personally, it's not my taste of songs, but I still can appreciate the great appeal they suggest and the entertainment and the potential staging and dance move and everything like that. So yeah, and especially coming after that drop in the beat, from starting from Luxembourg, Czechia, France, and so on. So I think he will benefit even more. Regarding Switzerland, I wouldn't thought it's a bad one until I heard that Cyprus is gonna follow them. So they're between two of the audience pleasers somehow. And let's face it, like I like Switzerland a lot. I think I stream that song once a day, even more. And I think like that song would probably get much more jury support rather than public. And my problem is that there are too many jury baits in semifinal two. Most of them in second half of the show, by the way. So I can't really say confidently that yes, Switzerland will qualify. Actually, I have spoke about that one when we have done the Switzerland review, and I still feel like that Switzerland, unfortunately, will be in 11th place in semifinals. So just missed the qualification with margin of points. Unfortunately, I hope I will like be wrong and I will like laugh about it in May. But still, that's how I feel, and I think that position doesn't really serve it well, unfortunately. But I like it, and Vani, I agree with you that it's good that it's quite distance from Romania, because probably some people who like female rock singers, like me, for example, will still find a space to give both of them attention. So that's nice. All right, we'll continue with the next pair in line, which is Cyprus in position number 8, followed by Austria, the host country, with no official position as guest performer. Vani, you go first this time.
Okay. About Cyprus, our little sister out there, I think that the position is actually helping a lot. I think for the televoters, though, only. I guess much of the audience will be Austrians in there, so they will just like, let's see how Austria is staged and stuff. So I don't really think they will focus that much on Cyprus. However, I think the public will totally get hooked with Cyprus. I think Antigoni is preparing a really good job, although most people seem like not to be overhyped. I'm very positive about Cyprus entry this year, and it's honestly one of the few times. And it's probably I think it's the only clear ethnic song of that semifinal. Like some can consider Bulgaria too, but not Eastern ethnic. So I can believe Cyprus will shine. Being in the half of the show practically is perfect for them. As for Austria, it's a it's a nice position as well, I think. I think two upbeat songs next to each other is a bit of uh, interesting choice by the
Mhm.
DBU. But on the other hand, yeah, Austria does not really match the shade because Austria is the host country. And I don't know. I do think that if Austria, though, was competing in the semifinal with that position and running order, I don't think they would qualify, to be honest.
Yeah, interesting. I still think like Austria should have been in the first half and not France, to be honest. Like they should really like, level up the energy with a lot of like non-upbeat songs. Yeah, regarding Cyprus, I must say I still not sure she even gonna qualify, by the way, because I have some doubts about her live vocals. And like I don't know, I just feel like her low registry vocal doesn't really fit to that kind of song, but maybe it's only me. So I really hope she has like the right vocals and right staging. If she has, she will qualify. Otherwise, it might be a surprise. Um, yeah, I think like they wanted to contrast Cyprus with Bulgaria. That's why they distanced them that much, although they could have, put Cyprus even closing the semi. But I pay attention to the fact that Cyprus was many times allocated in one of the edges of the halves. So we had Celia Kapsis opening semifinal one in 2024. We had Tamta opening the semi in 2019. We had Elena Zagarino opening the final in 2021. Last year, Theo even closing the semi. So they're always like either the first of the half or second of the half somehow, which I think not that justified. I would like to get more diversity about countries getting kind of opportunities on personal note. But still, Jala, I think, will be amazing audience pleaser as long as the performance is on point. I think it's really different, sorry, from Switzerland, so that makes sense. Thereafter, we have Austria, yeah, a bit as well, but I think it's like more avant-garde, even club, but not dance club, if you know what I mean. so more dark in some place. So I feel they're not damaging each other, but maybe Austria is more damaged. Um, yeah, I think it's a good position for Cyprus, to be honest. I would like them to perform there and not like during the end of the show. I think it suitable more. Naomi, what about you?
Yeah, so I remember it kind of clearly in the sort of draw for the allocations actually of the semi-finals themselves. And I remember when Cyprus was actually read out, a lot of people were happy. They were like, yes, Cyprus is in second half, second semi-final, absolutely brilliant. And I just remember people being so happy about it. And it was really nice seeing everyone so happy for Cyprus. Um, I did kind of expect Cyprus to kind of be a bit later in the semi-final though. So while it is a good area of the semi-final, I can't lie, Cyprus have done well in that aspect. For some reason, I also thought they were going to finish or close semi-final two. So I'm actually a bit shocked at that. I'm also shocked at who actually ends up closing semi-final two, but we'll get onto that. So yeah, it was a bit of a shock for me. However, I do feel they're in a good position overall. I feel like it works well, actually with Austria in the sense that I mean they are quite similar, so it does carry a bit of risk. But I'd like to think that kind of towards that part, people are in the Eurovision mood. They're kind of in the party mood, and I just hope that one after the other doesn't damage things too much. Um, and as we said, Austria is the host country, so I wouldn't worry too much. But yeah, basically, I feel like Cyprus absolutely amazing. Next to Austria, I wouldn't worry too much about Austria because you can't actually vote for them. So that'll be wait until the grand final. So yeah, I wouldn't worry too much. That's why on this occasion, I'll let it go that we have banger after banger.
Right, the next pair we're gonna review will be Latvia in position number 9, followed by Denmark as 10th song. Naomi, you go first, please.
Yeah, I think it's actually quite a nice transition. I actually feel this is one of my personal favourites. I'm a little bit biased because I really like Latvia and Denmark songs, so there's a slight bias. But I think it's a really, really actually quite nice transition because you've got Latvia, which is quite a slow ballad, but then Denmark song is technically also quite slow, but it does have a beat to it. So you have a gradual uplift in energy. So I actually think this is one of the best pairings and my personal favourite pairing, Latvia and Denmark. Yeah, I like it. I'm fine with it. Okay with me. Personally, one of my favourites. So yeah, pretty happy.
Vani, please.
Um, Song-wise, I agree. Actually, both Denmark and Latvia are my top five songs. Truly adore them both. And but unfortunately, I have to say that this position kind of is not that good for Latvia. And I'm really sad about that because Latvia song is mythical. It's extraordinarily good for me. One of the best they've ever
This song
sung.
needs to qualify. Latvia needs to
It,
qualify. So I just had
I,
to
I
interrupt just to express
totally,
that.
I agree.
totally agree
Manifesting
with
for
you
them to
guys.
qualify.
It will be, it needs to be in the final. We don't want to miss this work of art. But I do think being right after the host country and before one of the favorites, Denmark, it's very challenging for Latvia to stand out. On the other hand, I do think Denmark is clearly more favored here. Uh, Even though no, number 10 as a position is not that good when it comes to semi-final allocations, because we've seen not that important entries compete there, like Georgia last year or San Marino in the previous years. But I'm really excited to see how Søren will actually perform. And I truly hope the best for both of them. I adore you both. And I truly hope my fears for Latvia won't be come true.
Yeah, I'll continue. So we are kind of a streak of three red, white flags. We have Austria, then Latvia, then Denmark, right? I still think this is the real reason why they allocate them that way. Uh, But yeah, so I think it starts good, but it doesn't continue good this spring. In sense that I love both of them, first of all. Both of them are on my top 10, I must confess already. But I feel that while Latvia has some benefits being after Austria, because Austria, has some, I don't want to say joke entry because it's not, but it's entertaining entry, like gives that wolf a banana or something like that. And I think many people who don't like that kind of entry will probably fall in love with such a subtle, gentle, soft, angelic ballad of Latvia. So I can see it. I think Latvia suggests kind of strong concept for staging, by the way, with the glass swirling and black and white and shadows. But I'm not sure that putting Denmark, which is currently one of the favorites even to win the contest, or at least to like, make top five, let's say, uh, make some benefits for Latvia. I do fear that many people in the audience won't appreciate Latvia that much. I think jury will appreciate her, but yeah, I think that actually Latvia is the classic entry that would should get a boost with late running order. Think about something like Proud by Tamara Todevska. She was in position number 17, if I'm not wrong, in Tel Aviv 2019, and she did really well. Actually, won the semifinal, if I'm not wrong. And I remember that some people weren't even sure that North Macedonia gonna qualify this year. I always thought they will, but it was a question, right? Let's face it. So I feel with Latvia, it can either do the proud magic or even be lost in the mix. I'm afraid they will be lost in the mix with that running order. I hope I'm wrong. Maybe jury will save it. I have some hopes on that one. But also I'm gonna jump, but basically, while wasting Latvia here, while you have uh, three male vocalists closing the show one after each other, and might cancel each other. I feel like for some reason that if we could have swapped the places of Malta and Latvia, both of them will get much more benefits. Because Malta will be really different in that sense, Latvia will be really different, and then like people won't compare. Both of them should be distance. By the way, I think Naomi, we were to speak about it in the review back then, because both of them has some similarity in the stagings with the swirling effect and some shadows and something very intimate. So yeah, I don't know. I hope that we can have like a strict qualification of all of those in a row from Latvia to many others that come after. It's possible. We have seen it happening in the past, in the last year, in 2 years ago, in 2019 as well, when from song 14, I think, to 18, everyone qualified. But we should be aware that that's a risk. And we know that Latvia struggles sometimes, right? I mean, last year they have done amazingly, but usually they really have to fight for their spot. And I'm a bit afraid that it will happen this year as well. All right, let's move on to the next pair. Those will be Australia in position number 11, followed by Ukraine in position 12. Vani, you go first, please.
Sure. I do think that both of the songs wouldn't be that bothered if they were in another position. Australia is one of the jury favorites in the competition this year. I don't know if it was that clever idea to put it right after another jury favorite, Denmark. Although the songs are completely different to each other, so I don't think it will be a problem, and I don't think any of them will cancel the other one. It's a good position for Australia, number 11. It's not like they opened the show last year, they opened the semifinal and pretty much got lost after all those songs. So about Ukraine, well, Ukraine doesn't really have much. I think they will qualify nevertheless. The song is not that strong, in my opinion, but still, it will definitely have its audience. It has the quality that can be like on par with the public and the jury as well. And yeah, I do think both Australia and Ukraine are having good positions. The good thing, there could have been like Australia between Albania and Norway, or Ukraine between Albania and Norway. But they chose to have the females, and we have three men close in the semifinal, including the United Kingdom that comes before four then. So yeah,
Yeah,
I do
exactly.
think Australia and Ukraine are both kind of benefited. It wouldn't really matter if they were sooner or later. And it's a strong pairing with lots of good staging potential in both cases. So it will be a nice show.
Yeah, personally, I think those two of the strongest songs of the semi. I must say that Denmark, Australia, and Ukraine for me are the top three of the semi, and they might be actually the actual top three at all. Usually, my taste is not the one that happens, but this case I can see it. I still feel like maybe the UK would have flavored it up much better, like putting the UK between Australia and Ukraine to have some upbeat, some sassiness, and then something more classical. I think it will make all of them shine much better. The UK, Australia, Ukraine, everyone. So I have no clue why they haven't done so. Maybe it's related to staging concept. Maybe it's related to the when they want to allocate the 8 break. Although they can just postpone it or make it 3 minutes before, right? It's not a big deal. But yeah, that's the way it is. Um, Ukraine, I think many people gonna remember her like kind of light sun and the dandidan flower and the orange. So I hope that neither of the songs coming after or before will have kind of colors because they're gonna be canceled. Let me tell you from now on. Ukraine, I can see it appreciated by both jury and televote. It's a televote magnet as a country, we know that. Jury, yeah, that's a quality. I think I like it a lot, by the way. I know that not many of the fandom like Ukraine, but really, I can really cry listening to that one. But yeah, regarding Australia, I think she will shine on stage with a piano, probably. I think it will be something intimate, maybe something darker with the palette, so it can maybe the contrast of staging. It's maybe the reason why they're allocated next to each other. I'm not worried about Australia coming after Denmark because they suggest different kind of energies. I think it's mostly about Ukraine, Australia, both of them as ballads. Once again, different flavor. One of them is one kind of a pop power ballad, and the one is more like classical personal ballad, but still two ballads as a definition. Yeah, Vani, as you said, and as we said before, maybe one of the females should have been later, and maybe one of the males should be between them. I don't know. I think it will make, in general, I think that semifinal two has more questionable running order regard compared to semifinal one. It's this for me, so that's one of the cases. Naomi, please, what do you think about that pair?
Yeah, I pretty much agree with what's been said. Two amazing songs with a great position, like in general, in terms of where they are in the semi-final. But yeah, it's one of those where it's great, but it could be a lot better. And I think maybe, yeah, exactly, having maybe just even the UK in between them. And it would make sense actually having the UK in between Australia and Ukraine, actually, just in general anyway. But also just to mix it up, or maybe one of actually Australia, Ukraine, actually within sort of the male vocals, just to even just mix it up in terms of gender, even. So yeah, absolutely agree. I think it's not exactly the worst pairing, but it's one where a lot actually could have been improved.
All right, the next pair we're going to discuss will be UK performing as automatic qualifier. Um, and then we have Albania performing as song number 13. Nomi, you go first, please.
Yeah, I think us being in between, well, after Ukraine, I mean, us being after Ukraine is not really surprising. We've always kind of been near Ukraine. I think we were in 2024 as well. When we actually started the process of automatic qualifiers being shown in a semi-final rather than just being interviewed. So yeah, us being near Ukraine is actually not surprising. And obviously, given that we then sort of the year before we started, then the automatic qualifiers being shown in a semi-final, actually hosted on behalf of Ukraine, it actually makes perfect sense. I think that there was a lot of meaningful reason why we were after Ukraine, so that's fine. But I think us with Albania, I think the pairing's actually about UK and Albania, and I feel like that pairing's actually quite good in terms of the gear change. So we have sort of the UK with the upbeat song, and then Albania kind of really taking it down. I mean, it might be a bit of a shock to the system because you've kind of got this kind of upbeat song and then Albania's really powerful motive song. So while it's not the worst contrast, I do worry, is it suddenly a sudden drop in mood? Because it with Albania's song, If you go back to me and John's review of Albania, there is a lot to this song, and I think people need to remember that. So I feel like after Eins Zwei Drei, is it really gonna be a bit too much of a gear change? I don't know. But overall, I don't think it's bad in terms of just having that a little bit of difference. But I just worry the mood change might not be felt as quickly for Albania. I'm not saying it won't be felt for Albania at all. That's not what I'm saying. But I feel like just after Eins Zwei Drei, everybody was gonna have that energy of like, oh, the UK can actually do something, and then suddenly that drop to Albania where we actually need to take things a little bit more seriously. I don't know if that's going to be felt as quickly, maybe. But yeah, that's my opinion.
Nice. Vani, please.
Okay, so I think that the United Kingdom is a great way to have the viewers entertained after some ballads or mid-tempo songs. Uh, Eins, zwei, drei, it's an earworm. We can face it, and I do think that even though it's an automatic finalist, it can have a different spice to the show. It will definitely depend on the staging, though. I'm really curious to see the staging of the United Kingdom. I'm very happy that we have Albania right after United Kingdom because it's the definition of the Balkan ballad you expect to see in Eurovision. And for me, the Albanian entry is having a great climax that can overtake the emotions of the people watching, especially those who miss their families because the song is. Also, I heard Alice could bring his mother on stage, which will make it even more obvious. And after United Kingdom, I don't know. There is a good contrast between those two songs, surprisingly good contrast. And yeah, I do think Albania really benefits from the running order. And yeah, I like this positioning for both of them, especially for Albania.
All right. With mixed emotions about that one because on one side, UK really benefits because they break the non-tempo with a much tempo. Very something that will be bold for sure. You like it or not like it. I like it a lot, by the way. It will be a moment. I hope they will bring proper and memorable staging. It has a lot of potential. So just think about something creative, and you guys will do well. I hope. I still, in my mind, it should be in like between Ukraine and Australia. Sorry, I won't get along without it, but that will be perfect. But you know what? I think even though it's a good allocation, there is something that we should talk about it. And I think that both the UK and both Albania are very demanding song. Like you have to follow that. It's intense. Even Albania is intense as a ballad, but it's a powerful, intense ballad. Not at Balkan, by the way, for on my opinion. I think it's even kind of soulful Western ballad, besides the Albanian elements, some of them. Um, I just pray to God that Albania will come with the new staging because the one from Thick wasn't a good one. With the spinning cameras, with a Batman costume, with the sunglasses, I think it really distanced the people from him, and it might really be a card against him, may I say, even though the song is good, strong, and memorable. I think for Albania, they must have been quiet late in the show because otherwise people might, I don't want to say forget it, but might, switch their mood because it's a moody song. So you have to stay in the mood, and remember that really nicely. Even though, that the lines will be open, I think, from song number one, if I'm not wrong. So like, performing glass isn't that urgent as before. But still, I think that even though the both of them have good location, it might be, I don't know, maybe people might be overwhelmed on a good way. Like they have great energy from the UK, the Answeidrai, the slice of pepperoni, the German, etc. And then we have Albania, which also demanding. But maybe both of them together will overshade Malta. Could it be possible? We'll talk about it. Um, yeah, I still think like there are too many males in a row. They should have space between them somehow. But yeah, overall, UK is not competing. And as a guest performer, I think almost each allocation will be good for them because they're quite different. I think the most similar song that we have in that semi is actually Armenia with the same angry office vibes. And they're both quite far from each other, so they well treated. Yeah, regarding Albania, also like even though we have UK, which is not a ballad at all, still Albania, which is a ballad, it's not that far from not Ukraine, not Latvia, and definitely not from Australia. So I don't know. I don't know if for them it's a good, and especially we have after them Malta, it's also a ballad. All right, moving on to our last pair, which is Malta in song number 14, and closing the show Norway with Yeah 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 Yeah. Naomi, you go first, please.
Yeah, I'm actually quite happy about Norway closing the show. Yeah, I love the song. As I said, kind of back in my video, it was a song that was kind of growing on me. So on a personal level, I'm actually quite happy. I was worried with Norway if they didn't get kind of a good position, such as closing. I was worried about the song actually in general. I'm going to be honest. I feel as much as I like it, the difference between you liking it and its popularity actually in general. And I thought Norway's just going to get completely forgotten otherwise. So just so we remember that Norway's participating, I think it's good that we have them at the end. Just for me on a personal level, I think it's a nice contrast actually in the pair with Malta. I actually think it actually works in terms of the song genres. You have Malta, which yes is more of a ballad, a bit more classical, but it's not too intense. Also, we spoke about Albania. That is more of a deeper emotional song. But Malta does lift you up a little bit more, especially with sort of the petal tornado. Kind of that is going to be planned for the song in terms of actually performing it. And then actually with Norway having a bit more of an up-tempo song, I actually think it actually works. I think it might be one of those one where you almost don't know why it works, but it works. So I think it is one of those where it just does. I think it's, you have Malta that's not too dramatic, but then you have Norway that's not too up-tempo. And because they're both somewhere in the middle, that could be why it works. So on a personal level, I'm pretty happy with it. So yeah, I do agree with some of the other points mentioned. But yeah, for me on a personal level, I'm pretty happy with it. I'm glad a song like Norway will at least get a bit of attention. I do find it a bit random why Norway is last. I actually did think it would be Malta that would be closing the semi-final. It's got that part at the end where he's kind of almost speaking the song Bella towards the end. And that would have been a great closer where we go, right, now it's going to be time for voting. And it would have been actually a nice segue into the next part of the show while they sort of get the entertainment on while people are voting. So I actually thought Malta would have been the one closing, actually out of those two. But I'm glad at least Norway's getting a little bit of spotlight out of it.
Actually, I could have guessed exactly that Norway will close the show. I started thinking it already from the moment I watched Melody Grand Prix, the national final, and also there Jonas Lovv was the last to perform, and I felt like one of the reasons he actually won the selection, besides his charisma and vocals, is actually him being last. It's really last song energy. I don't know why. Like for sure, if he qualifies, he won't get that same treatment in the final, I guess, because it won't be that fair. But yeah, it's really suitable for him. Also, we have some rock songs, different one, but Romania and Switzerland. So I feel like we've got one of them quite in the beginning, quite in the middle, and one of them in the end. It's perfect for the rock lovers. Like you can get your rock spot anytime you want. It's really opposite from Malta. So that's why I think each one of them serve the other in a really good way. I think they don't cancel each other for God's sake, not like the tornado of Denmark, Australia, Ukraine, etc., etc., etc. Yeah, Malta, I think like the song has some attraction on that. I'm still not sure about whether and how it's gonna end at the end of the road because I feel that part of this hype might be a bit too much. Not on personal taste, just feel like many mixed emotions and opinions I have heard from Eurovision fans. I think Malta has got a nice boost here because usually they struggle a lot with televote, let's face it. Like even Rihanna Conte last year qualified but got almost nothing points in the final. Sara Bonici, which was quite a nice pop, last in the semifinal, last with almost no point at all. So I think even Aidan, suggested some strong song. He still needs some boost. There are a lot of ballads in this half as well. So I think it might increase the chances of Malta qualifying or do well, or call it whatever you want. So yeah, for Malta, that's a great position, even though it's coming after Albania. But I feel those two different, Malta is more classical and calm, and Albania is also classical, but mainly with very, sorry, demanding energy and such intensity. I don't know whether one of them won't cancel the other. I'm a bit afraid, I must say, that maybe we can't have both of them qualifying. I'm thinking from now on. Maybe I'm wrong, but I start feeling like that either one of them qualify, the other one will not. I hope both of them will, by the way. But yeah, so Norway got benefit. Also about Norway, let's face it, they're quite a strong country in televote. They're almost always a televote qualifier. And when they're not, they at least get some likes and attention. So yeah, I can see Norway closing the show as putting them not only qualifying, but also being in top five, at least of the televote. Not sure about the top five in general of the semi. And yeah, for both of them, that's a good allocation. Vani, what do you think?
Yeah, I will kind of partially disagree. I do think Malta's position is not that good, in my opinion, mainly because Albania is before, and I do think the way Albania's song processes during the 3 minutes of what we are going to watch is it's much stronger than what Malta has to offer. I do think the staging of Malta is much better from what we've seen, but I'm pretty sure Albania will not have that staging of the festival in the Eurovision. And yeah, I do think the song of Malta is probably getting a bit cancelled by Albania. I'm not sure. About Norway, yeah, I definitely agree. I do think this is a very good position for them to close the semifinal. It was actually my prediction as well. I was between Norway or Cyprus, but I thought Norway could be more possible. And yeah, I do think the song is very dynamic. It's a performance song, like it's a song for a performer. So it's like a stadium aura, and it definitely suits for closing the show. However, I have to say I'm not sure for the jury support for that song, but I do think Norway is in a very good position. They're closing the semifinal. The song is very different to the other songs. So it will probably stuck on some ear of people. On the other hand, I do think Malta will be a bit too niche. And unfortunately, as you've said, the televoting support of Malta is not that apparent in the last years, and not only. And if the jury can save it, it can. But I'm not really sure. It's decent. I don't think the run order helped Malta a lot, but it definitely helps Norway.
Even though, by the way, position number 14 is one of the excellent positions, like in general.
Yeah, but I do think in this case it could be not the best because of the energies of the following and preceding songs.
Yeah, that's right. All right, just my last thought. Why couldn't we have a row of Switzerland and then Albania? Like singing on Alice and then having Alice performing. That's just a miss, I must say. All right, before we finalize, let me ask a question. Who you consider the two, up to two, nothing more, let's say winners and losers of that allocation? Like who benefits the most and who gets the most damage on that one? Naomi, do you want to start?
Yeah, I've got one already. So I feel like an obvious winner out of their allocation in terms of where they are would be Romania. Yeah, as we kind of said, they benefit kind of really well, kind of where they are, as well. And another one, it might be a little bit of a cop out, but I'm gonna say it anyway. I think the person in terms of the who actually does most well. Obviously, I do think songs, regardless of where their position, can still do well. By the way, but I would say the other one. I'm trying to think who the other one is. I would say the other winner in terms of I'm thinking, oh, they've got a really good spot. Would be. I'll say my cop out. I would say Bulgaria. I'm going to say Bulgaria. I think actually them starting actually might work well for Bulgaria. They're kind of bringing the energy. They're paired with Moldova, who then start the first semi-final, and it's a showcase of the returnees, which I feel like might stick with people and be like, oh, Bulgaria's back. So I would say those two. I feel like there's another country I've missed out, but you've let me have two. So sorry if I've missed another one out. Let me know in the comments which one I missed out.
Vani, who are your two winners of the running order?
Yeah, I have one in common with you, Naomi. Bulgaria. I do think them opening the show helps them a lot. In my review era, in my review, I had to say that Bulgaria didn't wasn't among my finalists in the prediction, but I do think now they are getting a lot of help, and I do think Bulgaria will be helped a lot. And the other one is Norway, actually. Closing the show after two similar songs next to each other, Albania and Malta, it will definitely be a vibe. So yeah, Bulgaria and Norway are my choices.
I have many winners, I must say, but my first one is actually one of yours, is Norway, because I think that song actually suits well to being last in the rank order, and boosting that one that way would just help a lot. It's a rock song that differs from the other, especially of all the others in the second half. So even it would have done better, I don't know, in position 12, for example, but still it's a good one. Another one, actually, it's Armenia because it's coming after a lot of about after like ballads or low BPM entries, and this one has high BPM and intensity. So I'm sure that those who like such songs even would support it even more. Yeah, now moving on to losers or those who don't get benefits. So my first one is kind of obvious. It's Azerbaijan, but I think it like regardless will be that one. But I think like here the sin is kind of double down because it's first of all like being in position number two, but second of all it's between two really strong entries, Bulgaria and Romania. So I don't want to say it's skilled, but yeah, pretty much it's skilled. Second one, maybe many people would like for he to saying it. I don't like it either, but for me, Latvia. Latvia coming before three of the favorites of the show. I don't know. I hope they still can qualify. Maybe they can, but for sure it's lowering down some of the chances. I mean, we know Cyprus, not that far from there. It's kind of engaging. Søren from Denmark, it's favorite. Australia will do much jury support, and many people like it. Ukraine as well in general. So I'm not sure the position is that good for them. Not like it's not killing their chances, but let's face it, it doesn't do that well. Vani, who are one or two losers that you see from that allocation?
Yeah, I will agree with you on the one, Latvia. I'm really sad that but I do think Latvia's position is not helping at all. And so many songs to choose from though, in the first part of the second half, from Cyprus until Ukraine, so many songs to choose from. So I don't know. On the other hand, even though it's close in the first half, kind of Switzerland for me, because it's a different approach, of course, from the other ones. But yeah, Armenia, Cyprus, Austria, I don't think it helps a lot Switzerland, unless they come with a great staging, which I truly hope happens.
Yeah, I would say Latvia in agreement. Yeah, I really hope it does break those chances, but at the moment, just based on the chances, Latvia isn't in the greatest of positions. But it's one of my favorite songs from the contest. I really want it to go through. Please, please, please. And then the other one is one that kind of we've discussed at length, and I think it's good that we kind of did mention this. Is Czechia. I feel like just being after France, just the positioning that it's in and kind of for all the reasons we've discussed already. It doesn't do Czechia any favors. Does it mean they won't qualify? This is just our opinion on chances, but it doesn't help.
Agree. All right, so this is what we think on semi-final two running order. Like for sure, it's kind of a roller coaster with many good songs, with many differences and many similarities. Guys, tell us in the comments below. What do you think about the running order? Who got the benefit? Who is not in a good position? Do you think any country that shouldn't qualify will qualify now? Do you think some countries even strengthen their chances? Let us know. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel right here below to get notified on each new release that we will release in the future. Give us a like. And you can find us on ecb.com, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, Instagram, Twitter, and basically everywhere. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye bye.